Tooled Up Raccoons is a piece of technology designed by recruiters for recruiters to help you optimize your candidate search and ultimately gain industry advantage by leveraging the power of Boolean. So let me show you how a Boolean armed raccoon can help you transform your sourcing. Let's go. Let's start at the beginning. Tooled Up Raccoons is a Chrome extension. So what that means is once you have downloaded our Boolean Ninja, you are going to see this little symbol appear in your top right corner. Because it is a Chrome extension, it means that it will operate and function in any social media platform, any website, any search engine, any job board, you name it. As long as it's on a Chrome browser, you will be able to use this tool anywhere at any point and any time. So let's see Boo in action. Because we're all very familiar with LinkedIn, I'm going to use this as the basis for the demonstration. So what we're going to do here is we're going to open up Boo. I'm going to click on Boo, and what happens here is you see a side panel appear. The main sections you need to focus on are primary company list and primary keyword string. So the first issue that this panel is addressing is the fact that very often your Boolean strings are stored all over the place in a spreadsheet, in a post-it note, on an email. And in order for you to go and obtain them, it takes you away and wastes precious time going to source it to then bring it back. So what we've done here is created a mechanism where all your lists are stored in one place. So what we've got here is I'm going to take the example of investment banking, which is a company list that I've created for business development purposes. What I'm going to do after selecting investment banking, I'm going to press copy. You can see that has now been copied. I'm going to paste the Boolean string into the URL at the top so you can see the full length of this string that I have selected, because let's be honest, these small mini boxes don't really show you a lot. So if I paste it up there, what you will see is a Boolean string has been selected. Now let's move on quickly to the primary keyword list. So if I then go to primary and I select cloud variations, okay? That is my keyword string is going to have a mixture of titles, it's going to have skill sets in it. So let's copy that. Now let's see what is in that string. So what you'll see here is my keyword string has now been selected. So like I said, this really simple functionality is putting your Boolean at your fingertips. So no matter where you're hunting, you're able to grab the most relevant Boolean string and put it into the system. So let's now take this one step further. Often when you're on a hunt, you'll come across new profiles that you want to be adding or including keywords or companies within your strings. So let's do it. How do you do that today? So today what you'd probably do is go, I'm too busy, I'll do it later, which let's be honest, later never happens. But with Tooled Up Raccoons, this is what you can do. I'm going to use my profile as an example. I've highlighted the word Tooled Up Raccoons. That is a company that I want to be including in one of my lists. So I'm going to right click, go down to Boo and press Add to Company. What's going to happen is you're going to say investment banking already contains Tooled Up Raccoons. So that's flagging to me that actually my list already contains that information. So let's pick another word. Okay. So let's say actually the company's called Transforming Companies. Okay. Right. Let's just use that as an example. Again, highlight the words, go to Boo, add to company. I know that doesn't exist. So look, you can see it's been added here. If I now click on my little raccoon and press copy on my string, what you'll see at the end is transforming companies has now been added to my string. It was really that easy to enrich and update my search. So now I could go and take that search and update whichever platform I'm on to go and refine my filters. If I wanted to update a skill set, for example, let's do that together. So companies sourcing, right? Let's call that a skill set. You highlight the words, go to Boo, add to keyword strings. So what you'll see happen here is the words that I've picked have been highlighted. So those are my highlighted words. And here is the Boolean string behind cloud variations. So what I can now do is go anywhere in this box and update it. So I can use one of these buttons and click on it, or I could type, and then I can press add. It automatically puts into speech marks for you. Then you can press save and close and carry on. But the other thing that you can do here is actually break down your view. So often Boolean strings become very, very complicated and very difficult to see. So what we've enabled you to do here is a breakdown. And what that does is break it down into micro clusters, and it makes it easier to identify where you may want to be putting your information. So now if we copy the cloud variation and then we go up here and press paste, company sourcing has now been added to your keyword string. So these simple methods and techniques in terms of enriching your Boolean string are going to transform you from having archaic and dead strings to actually having on point, relevant strings that are being updated frequently as you go. That means when you then use them again in any search functionality or platform that you're using, it is going to be the most accurate search you've ever done. So what else can you do from the front end? You can copy your strings, you can favorite your list. So obviously what will happen as your list grows, it can become quite long. So what you can do is press this little heart button and it will make it a favorite and add it to the top of the list, which means you don't have to keep hunting. This will become really, really important as your lists get longer and longer and you evolve your Boolean. The other thing you can do from the front end is you can rename your lists and you can call them whatever you like. You can share, clone, and collaborate. So sharing means that you can share this list with someone in your team. So all you have to do is press share, select the person you want to share it with, press share, and they will receive an email with access to this list. Because it's an identical copy of the list, this means that they will be going into it and able to edit and change anything they want and you won't see it. However, if you wanted to go and collaborate with your colleagues, what you can do is press collaborate. Press the same process, press save and change. This means any changes that individual makes, you will also see. So you can truly collaborate with your colleagues. What you've also got here is the clone function. If I press clone, what's going to happen here is it's going to create a copy of this. Okay, it is an identical copy of it, but this can be really powerful if you want to make minor tweaks and changes to one of your core lists or your core Boolean strings, then you can do that and then not have to worry that the original has been touched. The other thing you can do is obviously delete any of your strings if you don't think they're appropriate, but you can also create new strings on here. So if I wanted to add a new string, I can do that from the front end. I can write help, if no string related to that, press plus, a new string has been created, and I can automatically go and get the latest job spec and start creating a list. The one important thing to note when it comes to your primary keyword strings is this. You can go in and press edit from here. When you press edit, what's going to happen is it's going to bring up your string for the one you've selected. And obviously you can move around and select the other ones that you wish to use. This can be really powerful if you think there may be an error. Okay, so I don't know how often you guys have done this where you have written a word or written a string and it hasn't been right. So what's happening here is when I go into the edit functionality, you can see what's popped up is missing quotation mark. It highlights the word where it's missing and indicates where I need to go. So if I now pop in a quotation mark, it then identifies another operational error. It says I'm missing an operator. So it guides me to go and make those changes. I've made those changes and that is now clean. This is incredibly powerful. I have done this very often where I've created a Boolean string, it's brought back no results, and I've sat there looking at the string and I cannot for love nor money identify where the error is. But this functionality of error detection enables you to do that instantly without having to overthink it. So really, really powerful to ensure that your Boolean is the best it can be. And when it doesn't bring you results, you know that it isn't because you've done something wrong. So let's head into the back end of the system by pressing home. So by pressing home, you come into the dashboard at the back. This is a really cool view. Here you have your manage your company list, manage keyword strings, import and export. So let's start at import and export. So when you first join Tool.Raccoons, there is none of this extortionate sign up and integration fees. It is simple this. What you do is you download the CSV. By pressing this button, you open up this file here, and what you'll see is a CSV file open. For all your existing Boolean strings, what I want you to do is I want you to change the name to what you want that Boolean string to be referenced by and you to be able to identify it on your list, and then pop in your Boolean string here. Once you are done, you press save and close. And then what you'll do is select which section you want it to go in. Do you want it to go in company list or keyword strings? You'll put your file in here. You press skip, overwrite, or clone if there's duplicates. Start import, and off you go. What will happen is then your company list or keyword string list will automatically be updated and you will see your lists appear here. Nice and simple. The other piece to know while we're in the export functionality is that if at any point you want to export your list, you simply press start export and your list will be ready for you in an Excel spreadsheet and you are off. So let's go back to company lists here. So as very similar to the front end, you can create a new list. So you simply press create new. You can select any of your existing lists. You can favorite, you can unfavorite, you can rename, share, clone, and delete. So you'll remember all of this from the front end. If you want to collaborate, again, all you do is press this button, press tick and save, and Mitch, who is my colleague, will get access to this file. You will note that this list will be as long as the number of employees that you have in the team. So if we actually start looking at the back end of the company list, what you'll see is we've got a restore functionality. So I don't know if you've ever done it where you've made a change and you wish you hadn't. So what you'll have here is this. You'll be able to see all the different versions and iterations of this string that you've ever done. So that's nice and simple, and that applies to the company list and the keyword string. We also, on the company list, have a deconstruct view. So very similar to the keyword one, we want to make it easier for you to absorb the companies and identify who you've been adding. And this is really powerful if you've been going on a hunt and you've picked up loads of new company names and you want to do some research. So if I press that breakdown list, all these companies that I've added have now been broken down into alphabetical order. So you can now go through that. What will then happen is you'll see on the right hand side, you have the ability to delete one of the companies if you don't want them there anymore, or even press this spyglass. So if I press this spyglass right now, what it does is takes me over to Google, and it allows me to find some additional information about this company. Obviously, the power of this tool and the power of the search all depends on how unique the company name is and what the SEO is like, but the functionality is there nonetheless. If I then collapse that, it goes back to normal. The other thing that you will remember is the error detection bug that we spoke about when we looked at the keyword strings. So if I do that quickly here, I'm just going to delete some sections just so you can see it at work. If I press the bug now, what it's going to do again is highlight in red where the error is. It's going to tell me that I'm missing a quotation mark. And then what it does is goes, okay, what's the next error? Identify there's missing operator. So I type in the operator of choice, and then that's all clean, and I know that my string is good to go. Press save, and we're off. The other thing you can do from the back end is obviously you could write in here, you can do whatever you want, you can type it, you can use these options at the top. But what you can also do is actually copy it. So if you wanted to take this Boolean string and actually use it on an offline search, so if you've got a database that is offline that you want to search through, you can take this Boolean string and take it offline. There is no problem about it. Or you can simply copy and paste it into a search on an online portal. Nice and easy. So what we're going to do next is we're going to look at the keyword string. You're going to see a lot of familiarity here. So you've got create new, you can see your companies, you can favorite, rename, share, clone, delete, you can collaborate, you can restore to different versions, you can deconstruct as you saw in the front, you can do error detection, copy, save, you name it, and you can tweak again, like I said, you can tweak any of your Boolean strings from the back here. Nice and easy and functional. So let's pop into the settings function quickly by pressing this little button up here. What you'll see in here, if you are an admin, you'll have visibility over manage subscriptions and manage team. If you're not an admin, you won't have views to these two sections. But ultimately for you admins, what it's going to do, it's going to confirm what your status is, so what type of subscription model you're on, a monthly or annual. It will confirm your billing date and the number of active seats you've got. From here, you can change between monthly to annual or vice versa. You can change your payment method, and you can also cancel your subscription. Nice and simple. You're in full control of your account. When it comes to managing your team and adjusting the number of users on your squad, what you do is you come here. You can increase or decrease the number of seats you've got. Nice and simple, no problem at all. All you have to do is if you're increasing, press confirm, another seat will be automatically added, and you'll see that you'll have extra seats available to use. We do have a safety mechanism built in here that obviously you can see 2 seats have been allocated. So if I try and go below 2, the system won't let me, because what it wants you to do is cancel that person's seat and extract their Boolean. So let me show you how that would work in reality. So let me invite a teammate. So I'm going to invite my favorite teammate, right? PrestonPipers@iCloud.com. Okay, and we're going to call them that, and then put in their details. Okay, we're going to send them an invite. What they're going to do is they're going to have received an invitation to sign up to Tooled Up Raccoons. By you sending them that invitation, you will see them appear as part of your team. So earlier when I went to go and decrease the number of users, it's now limited to 3 because there's 3 users here. If I wanted to go below 3, what I'd have to do is remove a user. So I'm going to remove Peely, right, the new user. And what it does is when you say yes, it forces you to export their data. So what this means is at no point will you ever lose the Boolean strings that your colleagues have created. So if I press export, what you'll have seen there happen is 2 Excel sheets have been formed, a company list and a keyword string. This contains all the Boolean strings from that user. So you haven't lost them, and then you can share them or use them and upload them into the remaining employees' Boolean string collection on tool.raccoons. Now you're down to 2 users, you can now drop to 2, and so on until the end, until there's no one left. So that is nice and simple. What we're going to do next is we're going to have a look here. So for everyone's going to have access to these next 3 sections. So training videos, get help, and send feedback. So the training videos are as it suggests. It is a training videos that give you a bit of a recap and a refresh of everything we've spoken about today. Obviously, you can always refer back to this demo. What you can also do is get help. We have created a method where you can log onto a portal, you can search for questions, you can click on questions, and if your question isn't being answered, you have 2 options. You can add a ticket. So what that means is you fill out your details and a description of the issue, and that is sent to me to review. Or alternatively, you can email our co-founder, Gabriella Preston Vipers, and you'll have her email as she shares it with all new recruits into the HQ, and you'll be able to email her directly and liaise on any challenges you have. So the last bit that's really important is send feedback. So this is a piece of technology designed by recruiters for recruiters, and we want that cycle to be real. So if you have any suggestions or proposals on how we can make the platform better, we want to hear it. So again, you can simply press on send feedback and provide the additional suggestions or information, or alternatively, you can email Gabby, our co-founder, directly and share all your suggestions, and then she will review so that we can keep making this tool better and stronger for you.